So here's container box 3 of 3, and I think I've showed you. Here's a previous axle that didn't work. I had bought another axle, and I had bought a new axle, and I've got this axle, and they all have the same issue, at least the used ones do. And I will show you, this is the least of the problems, but if you can see, the threads are completely boogered up, and the wheel nut will not start. You can see that they're kind of wavy and they're missing up at the top, and the wheel nut will not start. Well, so here's my new old stock one. That's how it should look. But this is where I'm currently at right now, because my previous one is pretty boogered up. You can see where I've tried to put the new nut on and it's trying to grab, but the threads are just messed up. So what to do about it? Well, I don't know. Some have suggested taking it to a machine shop, and that would be okay, but it seems like the machine shops around here don't want to mess with it. And the other problem I had was when I bought the new one, the new axle from the junglesite, one of the places that sells on the junglesite. The spline grooves were only cut about a 1/16 of an inch, so they wouldn't go in. So that forced me to go back to trying to find used ones. And I'm sorry about the mess. It's between the kidney stones and all the other medical stuff, I'm so far behind on this. We are finally all feeling better. But this is where I'm at right now. So hang on a second. So without going to a machine shop to try and get this fixed, some have suggested, well, look for a thread chaser. Well, the only thread chasers, or not taps, but the dies to go on threads to clean those up, the only ones I've found are $75, $100, $115. Well, I went on the junglesite, and this is what I got. Now, let me show you a close-up. And let me show you the instructions that came with this. Oh, they're backwards. They're mirrored. Anyways, I will read it to you, but all you get is kind of a diagram showing kind of what they're doing. And it says, Universal Outside Thread Chaser will quickly restore threads on all kinds of objects to near original condition. Kit features 6 die heads with multiple thread sizes per head, and it lists them all. The wide variety of cutting heads work on items as varied as faucet heads, threaded containers, fork tubes, steering stems, and much more. Can be used on items varying from 1 1/4 inches OD to 5 inches OD. And it says that on the exact same thing on the back. And that's all you get with it. And you're like, well, what the heck? What am I supposed to do with this thing? And when they talk about all the different threads, So they have one kind of already bolted in there. And then they have all these other dies that are kind of stacked on, I'm guessing, some kind of dowel. And so when I undo this to change out the thread, I'll be able to pull this off and change the thread pitch. But then what? If I'm looking at the picture, I should be able to open this up, slip this on, and then spin this around to try to clean up those threads. Sure. So why don't I pause the video and get this thing set up, and then we'll come back over to the axle. Alright, so here we are back at the problem in question. Let's make some room. So I have put the 18 die on here, tightened it up, and then if I look correctly, you widen this out, tighten it up onto the thread, and then spin it, which luckily I think I have room enough to spin it, at least where I need to go. So I'm trying to see if I could maybe get this better. And just a second, I'm gonna adjust the way I'm filming this. Definitely need a better camera. Okay, so I'm gonna tilt you guys down, and then I'm gonna zoom in. So you can kind of try to get this centered. Here we go. So as you can see, these are all dinged up, and if I'm looking at the instructions correctly, you see, I don't know if this is going to work or not, because the wheel I don't know. The portion that goes in is just, I don't know. Well, see, and then what? It hits the, The problem is it hits the wheel studs. You can't offset the die you can't make it. Oh, this is just. Well, Norm, how much did you pay for this? I paid $35 off the junglesite for this device. You know, if it cleans up the threads enough that I can get that nut started, I think I would be okay. But therein lies the problem, is I don't think it's going to work. Not unless I take this all apart. Now, I have tried see, and it just doesn't. I have to take the bearing assembly out. That the correct term for this is escaping me right now because I'm so frustrated, because I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, you want to work, but you're not working. And the other funny thing is I have an 18 pitch file that I've tried on this, and that didn't work. And it's just, the other thing I find interesting with this is when it tightens up so you can actually rotate it and try to clean up the threads, the other end is still pressing down and riding on the threads, so it's potentially smashing the threads that you're just cleaning up. I will give this a 1 out of 10. Yeah, 1 out of 10. I had high hopes for this, but there was a part of me that was a little suspicious, that I thought, no, this is not going to work. And no, it's not going to work. Now, I am going to try something. I am going to take this 2x4 and stick it in here, so maybe when the wheel stud comes down like it is right now and it's holding it, maybe this will maybe. Let's get the nut out and see if it'll start. If it'll just start. Now, okay, it is farther than it has been. It's actually started and has gotten onto, before it wouldn't even, it just spun and didn't grab. So it is trying to grab now. Talk about patience and finesse. My patience sometimes runs a little low, but I can try to be finesseful. See, and then I get to one point where it stops, and then that's where I'm like, I don't think I really need to pull this out again. And if I do that, I may have a better shot at it. The problem though is, you know, you put all the RTV in there to seal that up to prevent leaking. Now I'm going to have to scrape all that RTD, but that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. I know what you're saying. Norm, quit being a curmudgeon. Well, that's what the channel is. Curmudgeon 24/7. Alright, let's open this up again. Let's make sure we get a decent bite. Nice and flush with the threads and the thread face. And let's give it a spin. Oh, see. Oh, well. Alright, now see. Now what am I going to do? It's spinning the whole kit and caboodle. And I don't want to damage the spline face. Let's try this. Nope. You can see where it's trying to work, but it's not working. And I don't know how strong I need to tighten this down. I really don't want to damage this. Oh, gosh. You know, I don't need it to cut threads. I just need it to clean up what it's got there. And as soon as I grab it and start to turn it, it causes the handle to loosen. Not the most optimal contraption. And as I twist it, see, I'm thinking it needs to be like a pipe wrench. And turn it into it so it tries to tighten itself on it. You don't want to pull it. You want to push it. If that makes sense. And as soon as you start doing that, it just spins right off. It's an IQ test. I'm failing. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5 stars. Why? A, lack of instruction, but B, it's just see, I would think you would, as soon as you start doing that, as soon as you start applying pressure, it forces it off of the pipe or axle or whatever. And then if you try to drag it, it's going to do this exact, like if I try to drag it, it's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to pull itself off. You know, that's right there is the best. Holy cow. That's the best shot I had at that. I almost made one complete revolution. See, but it's these threads right here that I need very end threads. And it's just, it just won't go. See, as soon as you start to do that, it just wants to spin off. Now, I'm afraid I'm making it worse. Alright, let's try this one. Well, I think we're back to square one. Just doesn't want to go. Well, okay, so you're probably saying, well, pull the axle out and take it to a machine shop. Well, see, and therein lies the problem, is because I've got all the bearings and all the gaskets and everything's crushed in place, and it's been sitting here for a couple weeks now. So when I try to yank it all out, I'll have to replace all the gaskets and all the sealant again. Oh. Why are you being that way? And this is the axle I got off of eBay that the gentleman swore to me that the threads were good. Oh yeah, threads are good. And with shipping, it was $100. And no, I'm not going to share who it was, because I reached out to the guy and I said, hey, look, I know it's been a month since I bought this from you. I just had time to put it in here, and I noticed that the threads are all boogered up. Won't work. And so therefore I propose that that he gives me at least half back. And he did. I had no questions asked. He gave it back. That was the only reason I gave him a good star. So, all right, I'm gonna pull you back up here. Flip you around. So now what? I don't know. No idea. Maybe I take that latest one I got, and because I think the threads seem to be a little bit better, and maybe try to clean it up real quick. But then I'm back to square one. I'll have to take all this out, swap the axles, I'll have to get new gaskets, I'll have to undo all this stuff, clean off all the RTV, put it all back, which is okay, but man, it just... Alright, let me do some thinking about it, and I'll let you know. And I appreciate you watching. I'm so far behind in this thing. I wanted to have this done this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, and I wanted to have it out so I could really give it a super duper pressure washing. I want to pull the hood off, really get all the grime off of it, and then finish painting the rear end And then I have another video I want to show you. I got one of those, it works with your pressure washer to sandblast. And I've heard people say they love it or they hate it. So I've got it. I got some abrasive media, and I figured I would try to clean up my tires and the rims and see how it worked on cleaning up the rims on the big wheels back here, so I could at least get them ready for paint. So stay tuned, Curmudgeon. Thanks for watching. Spread the word. I'd like to get more people. Thanks. Bye.